Oh wow, that's lovely. That's cozy. I'm just thinking if I'm doing it here to relax a little bit early in the morning after the party yesterday. No, just kidding. Let's getting this things kicked off. I want to talk about smart replenishment in a kind of unified commerce environment, and also want to give you some ideas how we integrate in a unified commerce environment third-party systems. And I want to do that with one of our clients, which is a shoe manufacturer from Austria. It's the Lauren Shoe Group. You might have not heard about them, but they're in the Central European area, quite popular. They're having actually 3 brands, which is Högl, Ganter, and Hassia, with different kinds of shoes they're producing. And what they are doing is they are right now doing around about $100 million in revenue, 1,200 employees, and a classical distribution through retailers with brick and mortar stores. They're doing a little bit, or they started a couple of years ago doing B2C commerce also, but the main topic for the project was something different. It was a B2B topic. So actually they are producing also a bit more about than 1.5 million pairs of shoes. So just a couple of words about Tech Division. We are Magento SI, as you might think about, and around about 100 employees, and transactional commerce revenue of our clients $500 million a year. So in the title of my presentation, I said unified commerce. What is unified commerce? So you might have heard of the topics multi-channel, omni-channel, and unified commerce is coming around the corner right now and is what we probably call the next big buzzword, the next big thing after omni-channel. So if you think about omni-channel refers to the multi-channel sales approach that provides the customer with kind of an integrated shopping experience. So the customer can shop online from desktop or mobile, or even with digital touch points in store, for example, in brick and mortar stores. And the experience should be seamless or frictionless. So in omnichannel you have multiple channels, and you don't have normally one piece of software you're using for that. So you try to orchestrate different toolings to bring that together and serving your clients with a kind of frictionless approach. Unified commerce is a little bit different than omnichannel because it takes us a step further. So unified commerce tries to integrate more and more tools, and in the best case brings the tooling together to just one piece of software where you have the single point of truth of your data. So you have fully data consistency in your platform, and you try to do that kind of by having just one platform. And Magento is great for delivering unified commerce in a B2X environment because Magento brings all the necessary components with. So what is the challenge here, or what was the challenge with our customer Högl? So the big challenge was the 3 brands in 15 countries, so which sums it up to almost 90 websites we have to deliver. And they also had, as you can think about, there's a kind of traditional company with a traditional grown infrastructure, so really heterogeneous systems and complex processes. For example, they're still running an old, really legacy old IBM AS400, for example. I mean, they have Microsoft Dynamics along, but they still have these AS400, and I mean, it's like, you cannot, it's like a virus. You cannot, if you have these kind of systems still in the company, it's super hard to get rid of them. So the interoperability of these platforms like an AS400, as you might know, are not that great. So it's always complex to integrate, especially when it comes to data exchange and formats what we need. So we had to find different ways and to map the different tenants of the data to the different websites and to the platform. So had to import different and multiple stocks for the B2B process, for the ordering process. And we had to implement that by using Magento multi-source inventory, which is quite new. So came out with 2.3. And the reason why we are using MSI, I come to that in a bit. So for the integration, we are normally at Tech Division using an import framework, which you can find on GitHub. It's called M2IF, Magento 2 Import or Integration Framework. So it's highly kind of an extension of the Magento standard processes, but gives you more power and flexibility in the integration and speeds up also the import and processes a lot. So, and also, of course, I mean, we had to integrate everything with the Page Builder EAP, so we used Page Builder in the early access program. So, by the way, we started the project exactly a year ago, and as you might know, Magento 2.3 came out this year in the beginning of this year. So, we started with the beta of Magento 2.3 and MSI, which also leads to a couple of problems. So the challenge was bringing 3 brands with 3 target groups like B2C, B2B, and in-store digital touchpoints together to one platform. So to give you a little bit background also for the concrete requirements they had, you have to understand how ordering is normally done at a manufacturer or at a fashion manufacturer. And it doesn't matter if it's shoes or apparel. They normally have always the same production cycles and always the same B2B ordering process. And this follows the concept of showrooms. What does that mean? The showroom concept is something like the following. A retailer goes to a showroom. It's a physical room where he can look up the new collection and can order that there at the showroom. And normally that's twice a year because most of the fashion companies, especially in the shoe business, they have 2 collections. It's a spring-summer and a fall-winter collection. And you do that normally a year ahead. So when we are thinking about the fall-winter collection for next year, for 2020, normally the retailers go now to showrooms and ordering them. So that's kind of what they call pre-order. That's the one part. So you have these ordering process with showrooms, and then you have also, and that's also quite normal, different delivery dates. Because, the production starts and they're planning the production. They know which parts of the collection will be delivered or when they are able to deliver them. So not only you have the 2 showrooms a year, and then the retailer can choose from different delivery dates. So that means the retailer goes to the showroom and do the order, but splits the order to different delivery dates in the future. And then normally there are retailers or kind of store networks. So that means a retailer consists of different brick and mortar stores. So a retailer has different sites, and they want to also organize that during the ordering process. So they not only have different delivery dates, but also different delivery sites where the shoes or the product should be delivered to. So then it looks like the following. You have the retailer going to the showroom, placing the order with different delivery dates, delivering to different sites. Which is a cool process, by the way, because it gives a manufacturer and retailer different advantages. One is you can optimize the production capacities, and the other one is it saves also storage capacity in the store, because normally brick and mortar stores, you do not have attached big warehouses, so you have only limited space where you can store your products. And once you can split that up into different delivery dates, it saves you storage capacity. So what is the solution here? The solution is the following, and I mean, we thought about how can we do that with the different stocks, because I mean, a delivery date, you can interpret them like a stock. It's like a stock to a specific date. So there are in Magento, as you might know, until 2.3, there were not the possibility to have different inventories or it was not possible to manage different inventories. Before 2.3, there was only the solution to use dedicated order management, for example, Magento order management. My colleague Florian yesterday talked about Magento order management and the difference a little bit of MSI. So we thought, okay, shall we do MSI or MOM? And in this case, we decided to go with MSI because order management is great if you have more complex situations, if you have 100 of retail stores and you have to do some kind of aggregation of these stores, and also if you need in-store capabilities. In this case, it was different. We didn't need any in-store capabilities to manage that. We only needed the possibility to manage different stocks. So therefore, we thought, okay, let's do MSI, even if it's beta. But we figured out, okay, B2B, the B2B suite is not really running with MSI, so we had to make some enhancements for that. And we also had to re-implement some parts of the management a little bit because actually, if you look to Magento with MSI in the default, you have one website, and one website is represented as one sales channel. And one sales channel is only able to handle one stock. So as we had to give customers different dates to buy from for the pre-order logic, we had to change that. So for that, we had to introduce our own channels, so we called it availability groups. And we had to integrate them on the product detail page, also on the card for the quote, and so that Magento picks up not the stock from the website, instead from the availability group, leading into generating then a kind of availability or order matrix. And this is, I think, for a B2B fashion environment, a really great feature, and I show you after that slide. Yeah, so how does it look like? So if you're going to the product detail page, if you're going to the product detail page, you have your shoe, you have your attributes, your colors, all what you need. You have the list pricings. And then if you scroll down, you see the order matrix. And the order matrix shows you the size of the shoe on the one hand, and it shows different delivery dates. And then you can put in the quantity for a size and a specific delivery date in the future. And this is handled by MSI, so we can reflect the inventory in the future directly and making them available to order. This is a great feature, I think, but there is more. Because, as I said, it's not only about delivery dates, it's also about delivery sites. You want to give the customer, the B2B customer, the possibility also to choose from, or to being able on a line item base to send the goods to different sites. So we did that in the cart. So you have here, you see what the customer has in the cart, and you see on a line item basis, it's unfortunately quite unsharp. You see that the first area, the first section is going to one store, and the other section is going to a different store. And you can change that on the product detail page, and also you can do that, you can change that here. You see that on the cart. So this is really a sophisticated ordering process in a B2B environment, and I think we have seen that in many other cases where you have configurable products and want to easily make it accessible for ordering in a B2B environment, because I mean the procurement normally buys not only one or two pair of shoes, they buy 100 pair of shoes, and they want to be able to have that really a kind of a good seamless and a good seamless experience to buy that. All right, so this is the feature set what we built based on Magento, MSI, and B2B, and I want to give you a little bit of a background of the stack we are using for that, and also give you a little bit of background what's coming next at that customer. So the stack, as you, will not really surprise you, it's Magento Commerce 2.3. in the middle. So we have three different areas, three target groups, what I said. We started with B2B because that was their biggest pain point. So the old B2B ordering solution was based on their kind of AS400 with a web front end, which was not really user-friendly, I would say. So we want to exchange that in the first place. And on the second place, we are going to implement B2C capabilities, and then the final step is to bringing endless AIL capabilities with digital touchpoint solutions in their own stores. So B2B was the part what we have implemented and what is already live. A really big part, and as I said, in a unified commerce environment where you have to integrate with different tools, and it's anyway in an enterprise environment, integration there are crucial. So you need sophisticated integrations. Otherwise, it's hard to develop kind of complex platforms further and to orchestrate these integrations. So therefore, we implemented, or we're using normally for integrations an enhancement to the Magento standard import, and that's called M2IF. It's on GitHub, as I said. But we saw over the last project that this is not enough. So because we have to, or we want to be able to be in fully control over all integrations. So normally, if you think you have a lot of integrations and you're in an enterprise environment, a logical step is to introduce kind of a service bus, so enterprise service bus. But that can be for, I mean, typical medium-sized companies a little bit or too much in terms of additional costs, what you have to, because you have to license a service bus system, and they are not that cheap, and it makes integrations also more complex in the first place. So we decided to implement our own kind of service layer, middleware layer, based on Magento. And we are calling that one Pacemaker. And the Pacemaker gives you fully control over all integrations by using a pipeline architecture pattern. And I come also to that in a bit. The Pacemaker is the single point of integration with Magento in that environment. And it gives you a lot of opportunities, because if you are in a single process architecture, you have a couple of different problems. I mean, currently in almost all projects, processes are executed via cron. Which, I mean, in e-commerce and especially in Magento context, means then background processes. And as you know, cron is a daemon, which can start any programs at any time, even recurrently if desired, so that's all possible. And in the Magento environment, normally Magento is triggered by cron once per minute, and by default, and runs then the processes. Cron is an integral part of the Linux system, as you might know, and it's easy to use. It's kind of reliable, and makes it in the basic a good starting point for having some running some background processes. But it brings also kind of other problems when you have process running in parallel. You have data inconsistency because of blocking from the database, stuff like that. And you're never really aware, because it's just not visible. You do not really see what processes are running directly, and also shop managers cannot really see that because there is no UI, no really user interface. So it gives you there are a lot of troubles around when you have a lot of integrations running with cron. So we thought, okay, it makes sense to give not only the developers but the shop managers also a UI and the possibility to model processes and make them visible, so that you at every point of time know exactly what process is running, in which stage they are, and therefore we introduce Pacemaker. So how is Pacemaker integrated with Magento? The drawing shows the integration of Pacemaker within the Magento architecture. So Pacemaker is right now compatible with every version from 2.2 up in open source and commerce. So the core component of Pacemaker is the so-called process pipeline. And the process pipeline is responsible for the coordination and execution of all the model processes. So processes are basically any process that runs in the shop. They can be from generating the sitemap, XML, data indexing, or even importing the catalog data. So we're also using the import M2 import framework with the respective clients. So if the Magento import framework connects a standard connector we call clear client, you can see that on the right, cannot be used for the connection of the third-party system, that the data provided by the third-party system, PIM, ERP, whatever, will be converted through the standard format via a specific transformer. So we do data transformation here, and all is controlled through the pipeline. And we are also making that visible in the back end, so you can see that here. So you have all different pipelines, so with the different amount of steps in a pipeline. So there are different complexities in different pipelines. For example, I mean, an import process is normally around 10 steps, where an order process may be less, it's 4 or 5. And you see the state of every pipeline, and you can click into that and see if there is some errors occur, if there are errors occurring, or if there are any problems, so you can directly see the log files. And the same is available for the CLI. So you have a CLI interface where you can start processes through the pipeline, monitor them, and run them. And an example of, for example, a catalog import looks like the following. So this is a pipeline for a catalog import where the first part is downloading the data from the source system. So depending on requirements, this can be several parallel downloads if the data has to be aggregated from different systems, for example. Then second step is transformation of the data. In this step, the data source system is transformed into a suitable form to Magento. And the result of the transformation, which is a CSV file for the entities, for categories, for attributes and products, can then be further used. So then we're spawning a third point, and this is blocking the Magento cron indexer, so that the indexer is not running during this time. And then we are importing attributes with the fourth, and import categories, 5, import products, the SKUs, 6, 7, getting the media downloads or product pictures, then 8, re-indexing, so starting the Magento and search index, and then 9, release of the Magento cron indexer, and then the 10th part is optimization of the images. So this is how an example pipeline could look like, and the configuration is a wonder why that is. It is in XML, so you can, I give the presentation out later, so you can look that up. You have in the first part you see preconditions, what you can do, and then the different pipeline steps. And we are bringing along with the Pacemaker and the import framework already a lot of pre-configured steps, what you can reuse, which are implemented, but you can also easily implement your own steps. Yeah, you can look that up under techvision.com Pacemaker. So there is a good comprehensive documentation already out. And yeah, that's basically everything what I have to say today. So thank you for listening. And if there are any questions, let me know. I stick around anyway until the end of the event. So let me know or drop me a line. I'm happy to answer.
Fantastic. Round of applause for Stefan. Wow. You got to have questions, because that was good stuff. Deeper dive, anyone?
Hi. Do they have the retail stores and they have connection with their POS, integration with Magento, or they run it separately?
The own retail stores, they are building, or they are going to build an integration with their Microsoft Dynamics system. But The third party, of course, not, because they're not having a kind of marketplace. So it is they are just selling the shoes to third-party retailers for their own stores. They want to integrate them a little bit more seamless. As I said, they want to deliver also digital touch points for their stores, serving as kind of an endless aisle.
Right. Thank you.
Anyone else?
So M2IF is already on GitHub.
Yeah.
How do you plan to position Pacemaker?
Good question. I know that somebody is asking that. Yeah, we are we already set up a solution partner program. I have to say, it's open source, but it's not free of cost. It's quite a lot of engineering is in there, and a lot of time we spend into that. And you can sign up for the solution partner program, so you will get support from us and training and comprehensive documentation. Also, there will be kind of it's a subscription model basically, so you will be able to consume all the updates for the newest versions, and it's starting right now at our early access program around about 3,000 euros a year. But it's not limited to some jobs or whatever. Yeah.
No, and the follow-up question would be that it seems like the architecture is pretty solid and pretty extensible.
Yeah.
And the slides just showed a couple of examples, but really not the products like a CRM, an ERP system. But do you really envision like supporting numerous different ERP systems or CRMs?
Sorry, what we okay? Well, if we're bringing some pre-configured, we have some pre-configured pipelines already. So what we are bringing now, this will be the next step, standard integration for Akeneo, because Hugel also using Akeneo. So we are working on that already, and this is almost finished. We are bringing, for another customer where we're using it, we integrated Microsoft Dynamics, so there will be also an integration. And we right now also have a project with SAP, so SAP for HANA. And we are going to release that also within the Pacemaker program. So you will be able to collect from different connectors how you like, and then utilize them for your own needs.
And then basically you pick it up on a per project basis to see like what kind of connector needs to be created.
Yeah, the license is on a per project base. Yeah, so per customer. It's not server or not processes what you're running. It's really on just project base.
Got time for one last question. All right, one more round of applause for Stefan, please.